Hey Hamza, thank you for signing up for this portfolio review. I had a quick look over some of your website, and I noticed here you want to try to stand out from other portfolios. You're looking at you want me to look at the quality of work and general layout about Adobe portfolio. So let's take a look. Now, first thing, I believe that if I go to your website. One, I am not a huge fan of this, having like a splash screen before you actually get into the work. I like this image. I think it's interesting, but it doesn't really make sense to have like I'm expecting to just click into or go to your website URL and I want to see a bunch of work. So consider getting rid of this splash screen. You could still use this image as like your header image of the website, but I think it's just kind of useless. It's like an extra click. And again, I want to be able to just dive right in and look at your work. The other thing that I'm not a really big fan of when it comes to portfolio websites is bucketing your work as, how you have like design, photography, scale models. I see a lot of people with design and photography sections. Scale models is something that's new for me. And when I click into it, I notice you only have like 2 projects, which is fine. But I think a couple questions come up. Do two projects really need their own page? And if you're someone who does design and photography and scale models, is there a way where you can just bring those together and just present them as, your entire portfolio of work rather than having it be separated, that you do sometimes scale models, and sometimes you don't, it's just kind of confusing for me. Um, Design work, I love how you have this like LVMH Bulgari opportunity, this internship. Luxury stars, images below scenes are created by sketch ideas, files. Cool. Like this would definitely be like one of the first projects you see. This is really good. I'm looking for a little bit more background here. Like I understand that these are sketches, and I think that's kind of clear. Like these aren't photographs, these are like more renderings. And I want to understand what was the exact objective. Unique ways of including biophilia. Can you give me a little bit more background on that? Can you give me a little more detail? Was there a specific type of biophilia? I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but can you give me a sense of what your thought was, or did you have a certain interest or something that you were looking for particularly and what to include and stuff like that? I know it might be a little difficult with Adobe Portfolio to include text around here. I think you can only really include it at the top. Also, I'm not a huge fan of the way this is center aligned. Let's go back to design. And again, kind of mentioning like, is there a way that we don't need to separate that you also do photography? You kind of like, for me, and I'm not saying this is the case, you may do photography a lot, but for me, when I have different buckets that are design, photography, scale models, there's one that's always going to be more filled than the others, and the others become more of like, is this something you do in your free time? Is it like really relevant to show me this? Is this like something you kind of not, you don't really do often, you do more design, is it needed to actually have it all on this website, on their portfolio, or is there a way to incorporate it where it all kind of goes together, right? I think the one thing that kind of I saw was like you did the artwork for, I guess, a friend, recording artist Jose, and you had the image here. Sorry, my Wi-Fi is a little slow, but I saw you had the image here of like the album cover, right? And that's a good example of like, yes, I do photography when I need to, and I'm able to use it with my design work as well, like this image, right? So yeah, like how can we find more opportunities like this to show that we also do photography and design? I want to click into one of these scale model projects to get a sense. So this is what I kind of mean, like you have a scale model. Great. And then you have images of the scale models. Awesome. But there's no description here, right? Like you didn't give this much time or thought or detail as you did the other projects. So is there really a need to have this on here? You know, are you looking to do more work like this? Is this just something that you did as for fun? Doesn't really give me, it doesn't really add to what you are trying to present right now. I mean, these are great. I think these are really interesting, actually, but I'm not really getting much about these projects. And that could be, you know, because like I said, you don't have an overview. You're not kind of like bringing me along for the ride in terms of process or what you're trying to work on here with these. So I question, you know, is this something that you are looking to do actively, or is this something that you just happen to do and you felt like you had to throw it on your portfolio? Ash block. My Wi-Fi is super slow during these. Sorry. So let's just see if I can click on this. Oh yeah. The other thing that I'm, you know, for a project like this, right, where you're presenting this as a concept, again, you're missing like sort of the overview of this project. So that's a big thing for me. I'm a big stickler for that. You're kind of presenting this as like, hey, this is an idea I developed, and I wanted to actually kind of bring to life a little bit for an ashtray. Great. There's a lot of things going on that I don't think really relate to this idea of like presenting a concept, right? Like the work here is that you developed the shape and and you decided that you wanted to use this material and design the ashtray in this way. All of these extra images are like, you know, this glass reflection. These are like kind of things that don't immediately give me valuable information about the concept of the ashtray or the process or your thought or anything like that, right? Like they're more kind of just like experiments. And I don't think they're relevant to this page actually. So I'd think about that. I'd be really think about intention and what is it that you're trying to show with these projects, with these case studies on your portfolio. You know, some of these are cool. Like these images, I think are more interesting. They give me more information about the project. Again, I'm missing the overview. I'm missing some of your thought and your process in this, but like this to me is more familiar because I get that you're presenting a concept here or something that you would like to see maybe come to life in the future. These images don't really do anything for me. And I question if you even really need them. Let's see what else. Quality of work, general feedback. Okay. Really quickly, I am a bit confused. I think it's a bit odd how you have the navigation of the top of your portfolio website. Usually it's like Studio Hamza will be on the left, your navigation is gonna be on the right. It's fine, but it's questionable. Like, are you just doing it to be different, right? Because it's not necessarily something that I'm used to as someone who goes to websites. I'm not used to seeing this sort of layout. And I would think of your scale for some of these, for some of the type and copy that you have here. A lot of these things are really big. So think about that. The logo is really big. The navigation is really big. I'm not a fan of this typeface for the copy, for long pieces of copy and stuff like that. So just a few little details also to think about. I like this mark. I actually like this mark a lot when it's like this. And I don't know if these are the same typefaces, but I'd work on how strong this mark is and what typefaces or what fonts can you use that don't take away from it. So yeah, I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to email me and have a great day.